I made breakfast for you. And
Thanks.
June, I would like to apologize.
Okay.
For my rash actions of yesterday. I look at Brandon for help at this point.
Brandon was keeping his Brandon was keeping his distance initially just because he didn't know whether he was being included in the conversation, and he'll come and pull up a chair next to David as he says this, and he'll say, I think I'm kind of a similar mind to you, John. Dave went a bit too far yesterday, and it didn't just affect just you. I mean, I got crushed by that bookcase, so I think to Dave's point, when we mentioned not taking the mushrooms, it would have probably have been sort of for you to compromise with us, but what Dave did wasn't a justified reaction to that disagreement. So I don't know, that's just my take on it.
I guess so.
I mean, killing the mushrooms was definitely not cool, but I think they were probably happy in that environment as they were, and as me and David were saying, the problem with bringing them to the shop would be that they would spread probably maybe outside of the greenhouse, and that could have caused quite a bit of harm to our health. I mean, I was sick the majority of last night just by being in the same space with them, so that's what influenced my decision for them to stay there. But all I can say, John, is if I've done anything to upset you, I'm genuinely really sorry, and if there's anything that I can do to make it up to you, starting with this greenhouse, let me know, because at the end of the day we're in this together, and when we have a fight like this, we need to just try and, I don't know, just to
work on our differences and come with a solution.
And to just keep our morale up.
I mean, you have no reason to apologize, Brandon. It's just that I thought my nose was stuffy because the place was a mess and not because of the mushrooms.
Most likely because of the mushrooms. I spoke with Lante afterwards, and he did say that there's a possibility that the mushrooms could grow in our lungs.
And you would have to inhale smoke to get rid of them, which
is also not good for your health.
I mean, I'm a bit asthmatic, so that would be problematic for me, but fortunately I woke up feeling a lot better this morning, so it's just, especially after learning that, I would be very uncomfortable having the mushrooms here.
I do understand that, and if it was explained to me why we couldn't take them, I would have agreed if it's a health issue.
And I think
I just thought you guys like them.
And that was our fault, because rather than making those reasons clear, things escalated. So that's
it was a very big jump from saying no to
and
getting hit with dark tentacles.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. So I think that's where we go wrong. Like, if it is that we can't reach a compromise, like, even if it takes time, we just need to talk these things out until we reach a decision, and especially over something like that, never let it escalate to something physical, especially using the kind of force that could seriously injure or even kill one another if we're not careful.
It's also not really about the mushrooms. Like, I can understand that part. It's also like so far the whole situation still hasn't really dawned. Like, I know what's going on, but we've managed so far. But taking that drastic of a hit by the people you consider friends or your own.
I
didn't realize how close you are to, like, I mean, it was quite the hit.
It hurt,
and
it
realizing that even in such situations I could lose I could lose my life.
I mean,
That's what bothered me the most.
Yeah, and it just hurts so much more coming from people that, you care about. So, yeah, and that trust is slow to gain and so easy to lose. So, all we can really do is say, well, not even just say sorry, but, prove that, we're willing to do what it takes to regain that trust and to, not just to make you feel safe, but to make your opinion feel valued. And that when we come to a decision, it's one that we've reached through discussion and through laying all of our cards on the table.
It would help me a lot if things are explained to me, because then I can give the more of a spot, Just hearing no feels like, oh, there might still be some room because there's no reason, it's just a no. But if I hear proper argument oh no, you can't do this because it's dangerous, or oh, we don't want it because it's not good for us, then it the light bulb appears and I'm oh yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and
but it felt like it felt more the situation itself, it felt more like a playful yes no thing.
Yeah,
and you just walked away and I was okay, don't really care. So let's go.
I admit I wanted to leave that place yesterday just because I was feeling frustrated with finding nothing. And yeah, if I made you feel that way, John, I am genuinely sorry, and it wasn't meant to belittle you or to make you feel less. It was I just honestly wasn't thinking. So if I've upset you, then
such things can happen. It kind of reminds me of when I'm traveling with a new group and we don't really know each other. And then after spending 1 week in a hostel really cramped up, sometimes because we don't really communicate on the same level, we don't understand each other and lash out. And I think it's kind of maybe something like that. We don't understand what the other person needs or the way they talk. But we're stuck together, so that's something we will learn along the way.
Yeah, of course. And honestly, I'm surprised that this is the first time, given all that we've been through so far, that, something like this has happened. And I think the only thing, I guess, to be thankful for is that this didn't happen in a life and death situation, that, like if we were in the middle of a fight or in a dangerous environment. But I think, it was important that this did happen, and now we're aware of the problem, we can work to fix it. So what do you say, John? Will you give us another chance?
Oh, yeah, of course, but of course I forgive you guys, but it might take a while for me to get it properly in my own head.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, I know it's not. I know it's not a one and done thing, but yeah, it was just to let you know that we're sorry and we're gonna try our best to make it right.
All right.
I think Pete's gone off to get his food. So, is there anything else that we want to do in this scene, or has it reached its conclusion? Do you think?
Is there something David wants to say?
Is June asking that, or are you asking that?
No. It's me asking that, because I would imagine June would be waiting for David to say something more. I give him the opportunity if he wants.
Well, the only thing David would say was, I know that Brandon is the one that said the most things, and also the one that apologized the most, even though he himself didn't do anything to warrant that. But everything he said does also come from me. It also applies to me. I do apologize for acting a bit too hasty and not talking about it first and foremost before taking actions. Or maybe even I shouldn't even have taken those actions. But I do apologize for that.
Yeah. Perhaps this might be a random question, David.
Yeah.
Do you have siblings?
No.
That makes sense.
How does what make sense?
It's kind of why you don't know how to argue about stuff.
Never needed to.
I always needed to argue. No, needed is a big word. The youngest, I often ended up in situations like that. So I'm not used to being put down that harshly. I mean, of course, my sister and brother teased me and bullied. No, not bullied. They
Rebbe?
playfully punched me. I don't know how to explain. Like we hit each other, but it's not like we don't hate each other.
It's banter.
It's not that I'm
it
not
sounds
used
like.
to. Yeah, but it went from 0 to 100 real quick, and that kind of threw me off. And I always thought we had that like banter going with us because you remind me of my older siblings. But since you don't have siblings, you might have not interpreted that in the same way, I guess.
I just thought you didn't like me.
I look Brandon like dumbfounded, like, wow, how does he not get it? But like you understand you did understand the banter, right?
Yeah, I mean I'm an only child myself, John, as you know, but I've like the few friends that I've had, I end up kind of doing this sort of thing where I just try and talk and mediate things out. So I get it, but I think basically what John's trying to say, Dave, is if you're kind of in a position where you're only really thinking sort of about yourself, or you're kind of a really task-orientated person, I think it becomes easier to take people's behavior at face value, especially if you don't deal with or talk to anyone in depth a lot. That maybe some of, the nuance of a person's personality might be a bit lost on you, and that isn't down to anything that you're doing wrong. It might just be that you've had less exposure to it, and being put into a situation where you're having to constantly interact with the same core group of people, might be a new experience to you.
I mean, yeah. I always took what people said at face value. So you're telling me I shouldn't take whatever June is saying at face value?
I'm saying that people are layered and nuanced, and everyone's different. I mean, some people, will just say what they mean. And I feel that you're one of those types of people, and I like to try and speak my mind. I mean, that's why I'm so expressive. Sometimes I don't believe in concealing things. But other people like John, might be a bit less straightforward. I mean, it's like you learning T. I mean, something that's quite simple on the surface can give you trouble even if you're able to grasp something a lot more complex. It's just all experience, and just the more you get to know a person, the more you're able to tell what approach works best. I mean, where people are concerned, it isn't one size fits all. Everyone's different, and the only way to know what approach works best, it's time. At least that's what I believe.
It just looks visibly confused.
Maybe.
Sure.
Yeah, maybe don't think about it so much right now, but
perhaps take things I say sarcastically or in a mean way with a grain of salt. I mean, sure, you have friends who you tease, but you are actually mean to them, right? You have friends?
I do have friends, yes. Or
Do you
used to.
interact with them
Yes.
in that way?
A little bit.
Yeah.
We do make jokes, but we also make it clear immediately that it's a joke, and
Yeah.
it's
Take
the
that,
opposite.
but amplify it, and that's basically how I've been treating you.
You've been treating me as a joke?
No, I've been joking with you. Like, the only thing I dislike is, what did I dislike about you? I wrote it in my diary.
No, I'm not gonna start that. Okay.
It was the discussion we had about plans and money. That's the only thing that I didn't like. Oh, it's not I didn't like. That's the only thing I really disagreed on. But we still wanted to do the same, so it didn't matter. And being hit with tentacles and rolls. For the rest, whenever I'm mean to you, I'm sarcastically mean and not really mean.
So you don't dislike me?
So I don't. Yeah, I like dislike. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah. Why does it need to be like spelled out? That's weird.
Because how you always been saying, I also thought you didn't like me based on how you treat me, I should say. Shit talking
Treat Brandon-
about me
I-
not making tea or leaf juice.
I treat Brandon worse, right, Brandon?
Yeah, but that's how you and Brandon treat each other. You guys are friends from a long time. That's different than me.
Yeah. If he's a friend and I treat him like that, and
Yeah,
I
I
treat
mean,
you kind of
we're
the same.
we're definitely more familiar, but I suppose if you look at if you look at the nature of our friendship and then compare it to your relationship, with Jun, and you see that there's similarities between the two. You know, it stands to reason that that's just the way that Jun, you know, expresses camaraderie and banter. But it's, as I said, it's just, when you think about it, we've only really been together for what, a couple of weeks at this point, when all's said and done.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I think
frankly, I think we've done very well, considering, you know, we were just dropped into this situation, and we've been
kidnapped
in life and death situations more than once. I mean, like, I think we've done very well, but there's going to be problems every now and again, and the only way we're going to work past it is if we're just diligent about, you know, keeping any conflicts like this in check. But yeah, like, I feel that I've said my piece on things now.
Is there something else that bothers anyone? Just in the broadest way, not just related to
I find
our
Lante
relationship.
creepy. What?
I'll lay my cards on the table. I have no issues with either of you.
Oh, just
Oh, you
specifically
don't?
about ourselves.
No,
What's that?
it was about everybody.
I have a small issue, and that is
Do we need to visit Granny Sheila for that?
no, I don't have the same issue as Brendan. I meant a small issue with you, Brendan. And then
Okay.
again, I might not be in a position to say this, but
That's
I
fine.
think you are. How do I say this? I'm just gonna say it to Lante and let Lante sleep in the same room as June. I don't trust him enough. And June is a woman, so. And he is a man who hasn't seen.
slumps a little bit.
Yeah,
I know,
Yeah.
June, you were a guy before, so
Yeah, I keep
know you
forgetting
don't
that's a
use-
weird thing.
yeah.
I know you don't realize it, but it's a man that hasn't seen a woman in quite some time. I don't trust him.
Yeah, I think that's completely fair. I mean, if you want to, I'll rescind the offer if you're uncomfortable.
No,
John.
that would.
I'll
I think there are other ways. Because now you already offered. I think in worst case, June could also sleep in the same room as Kara.
it would be
Or we
better.
could send Mouse to
I mean,
look after them.
You saw what happened when he tried to sleep in Kara's room. She literally threw him out onto the corridor.
I meant June. June, they sleep in the same room as Kara.
Oh, yeah, that's reasonable. But now I'll explain why I did that though, and it's simply because I just saw a person who had the whole world taken from them and just not having basic comfort for, I don't know, half a decade, something like that. And my gut reaction was just to share something that I had. I must admit I didn't really consider sort of John. I mean, I think it's just because he'd already slept in the room once already. I just made the assumption that she and you, by extension, would have been alright with that happening again. But no, Dave, I take your point. I mean, I think if anything like that happens in future, I'll run it by you guys first.
Mostly
that-
June. And again,
Well-
it's not really my position to
Or whomever.
say who can sleep in your room.
Well, I mean,
but-
whomever it pertains to, like whether it's like anything, any decision or any offer I would make that would impose on either of you.
Yeah, okay. That's fine.
Is that enough, Dave, or do you need me
Yeah, no,
to
that's
do
fine.
this?
You don't need to rescind your offer. Because that would kind of be a dick move to make him happy with something and then move it.
Yeah, but it would be a dick move, but it would also, how do I put this
I
best?
think you would-
I'd be
you would
bearing the
understand it,
consequences
though.
of my actions. Like, I wouldn't want, like, if it's my mistake, I would rather take responsibility for it. But ultimately, John, since you're the one who's going to be most affected, it's up to you.
I got distracted by the chat. There goes
First two are empty because for some reason, if you make a heart that's enclosed, it doesn't work.
Yes and no emojis.
Yeah, stupid. I had to put a space in there.
I don't actually have my food on me, sorry to just interrupt. So I will kind of be ducking in and out a little bit in the near future, just waiting for something at the moment to finish.
No problem.
No problem. Let me think what the fuck I want to say.
Yeah, Joe.
So
Brandon
so
would just-
far,
Yeah, go on.
it's not no problem for me, but yeah, I should start considering how other people are viewing me, because it might make me end up in bad situations.
And come to think of it, me making that offer this morning in particular probably was a dick move just based on what we've talked about, but I will confess I wasn't completely aware just how upset you were.
Upset?
John, I mean.
Okay.
Yeah, I did not mind it, but I'm slightly worried a little because he did seem a bit weird sometimes, but now he isn't looking weird.
Yeah, he is
guess.
slowly coming to terms, I think, to the whole
Yeah.
situation.
And also, I think because he now has seen other people, the attention is away from us.
Yeah. I mean, his situation is understandable.
Yeah. Honestly, it'd be better if we had access to that extra room. That would probably...
We probably should have go to the woods where the family is supposed to be. Because then we have access to that extra room.
Once there's
Ooh.
access to that extra room, he could there with Brandon, perhaps.
Yeah, did we already agree on who will take that room? Brandon or John?
Depends on the size.
We never really agreed on it. I'm fine with whatever. I mean, really, I just think that we should all have a room to sleep in. Whether it's that room, whether I stay where I am or go somewhere else, doesn't really matter that much to me.
If it's a bigger room, then I want to switch.
You
So I
want
need
to
lots
switch?
of place.
Yeah.
If it's bigger, because I need lots of room for other plans.
I disagree. Yeah, I think if it's bigger, then it might be best for Lante and Brandon to share that room. And also because you're in the
makes
hoarder.
sense. I keep expecting you to call me a whore. I remember English is not my English is not my first language.
I do forget that sometimes.
Yeah. So whenever the sentence sounds weird to me. But you're right, I keep a lot of stuff. Useful stuff? Never mind, I take that back.
You want to talk usefulness about the ducks?
Well,
They
should we
are
say
there
that?
to-
One of the dogs trots down with a duck in its mouth,
Bella, why did you
Okay,
get that?
That's my clue.
wagging its tail.
I hold my hand out. Can I have the duck?
Animal handling.
Oh, it's a good one.
She slowly reaches out and lets go of the duck into your hand.
I take the
boy.
duck. It's a girl. It's a boy. A boy.
I managed to trip you up on that one.
Like 1 second.
And I start putting up the ducks way higher on the shelf. Did he leave?
I think he might have, yeah.
No. 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 Get out of my room. Get out of me room. Get out.
Traps it up, leaves.
Ow, I put them I just said I put the ducks higher. What attack spells do I have?
Don't attack the dog. They don't have much of HP.
I go back and we're talking about attacking dogs. What? I take my headphones off for
I
literally
said-
20 seconds.
I said I put the ducks on a higher shelf.
Bella is simply following you in particular.
Putting up on a high shelf. I pet her, take her out of the room, and try to see if I can lock my door.
Do the doors have locks?
I don't know. This is the first time I check. How did they enter?
They're smart dogs. And there is no lock, so push the door open.
Take the dogs down. Did you even give them something to eat? Do they have to eat? Are they magical dogs?
Of course they have to eat. They're living, breathing creatures.
That came out of a pocket.
That much is true, but they are still living, breathing dogs. And yes, I do have some chicken for them. I prepare 2 bowls for them to eat.
They happily gobble it down.
Alright, so back to the plan that we had about getting supplies for the greenhouse. Did you finish your design?
Yeah, I did. I made 2 designs. Circular one, just a square house. I'm still not sure which one we should do.
I think
design of
square is easier because the wooden beams are straight. If you want to have a circular building, that means you need to curve the woods, and I doubt that
Well,
the technology here is that advanced.
we would have to use. You know what PVC pipes are?
I know what PVC pipes are, yes.
Yeah, that.
Plastic
But,
pipes. I doubt
Yeah, plastic,
they are
but-
here.
yeah, but something similar like bamboo, I guess. That's a little bit.
Bamboo comes from a specific region. Then again, I don't know if the same
Yeah,
ruling
but-
counts here, but
These dogs came out of nowhere, so...
Fair point. Can I see the design?
I show him my designs.
I look at it, being a little bit disappointed that all my added rating and OSHA-approved methods are erased.
I wonder why he looks so disappointed, because I have no idea.
This will not hold.
How come?
Well, you see this part here, you should have a joint here, but it's just two beams against each other.
The thing is, I'm not gonna draw every joint in detail. I think it would make sense to put those brackets, bracers. I wrote it in my notes. Wait, chill.
You should have things
Brackets,
in as
yeah.
much details. The reason why is, especially if you work in construction, people just do what the design says, even if the design doesn't make sense. So people will make this without the braces, unless you yourself want to build everything. But since this is not a one, exactly,
together.
because this is not a one person's job, we're doing this as a team. The design should be detailed.
I look at Brandon. Okay, look at this beam resting on that beam. Would you know if that should use a bracket or no?
I have to be brutally honest, John. This isn't my area of expertise at all. So no, I'm sorry, John. I'm not trying to be awkward, but I really don't know what I'm looking at. Sorry.
Greenhouse.
No, I know the design I'm looking at, but I mean the mechanics, the layout of it.
Okay, it's lumber bar. Yeah, it's lumber. Do you say bar? Lumber bars? No. Hoe zeg je balken in het Engels? Beams. Oh yeah. Okay, these are lumber beams, and the beam is resting on the other beam, and you use a bracket in the corner of those beams. That makes sense, right?
I mean, as I say, like, me just looking at the design, like, in principle, it looks like, it makes a degree of sense to me, but I don't have any background in construction, John, so I don't know how this would actually work in practice.
I'm too lazy to draw every piece of detail.
Can I add?
So I turn the drawing to David. Give him my pencil.
Sure, I'll do it again. And then I...
Again?
Sharp it. Yeah, again.
What do you mean again?
Yesterday night.
Pointing at the mouse.
I did not point at the mouse.
Okay, you were looking at the mouse. I thought it was mouse.
You think a mouse can design... But then again, it's a magical mouse, but still, you think he can design a greenhouse?
I've thrown logic out of the window the moment I saw leather appear out of tiny pocket.
That is.
I know that's quite late for our whole situation, but that's the point I gave up.
Yeah, I mean, I guess unless we learn about like magical materials that literally change the way the laws of physics work, we're probably better designing this just with our understanding of how things function, because there's precedent for it.
At this point, Lante is stepped around the corner. Who's physics?
Physics is not a person, but a concept, like math.
Okay.
It is the law of the universe and how things work.
Oh, so it's like your god of magic?
Where we're from, we don't have magic.
No. It's in the simplest way, it's when something falls, it hits the ground. And the rule that something hits the ground when it falls, that's physics. Right, guys?
But what if it doesn't hit the ground?
Then it's not abiding to the laws of physics.
No, even then it's... Physics is...
It's the worst subject in school. That's the first... No, chemistry is the worst. I like chemistry.
Physics is a way of understanding, or it is like a branch in science of understanding how and why things work. And with understanding physics, we can make calculations and expectations of what will happen if a certain action is taken.
Oh, so like if you step on a butterfly, what it might do?
No, more like if I throw something, or if I fall, or let something fall, where would it end up? How long will it take it to fall? At what speed would it be falling? What force do I need? Or how much force do I need to pick something up, to push something?
Okay, fair enough. I kind of get you.
I'm glad you were able to kind of get it. Because it's difficult to explain it.
Well, it's It's not that difficult, I guess.
To explain the concept.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Dante, there's this big game, okay?
Mhm.
Everything in the world plays this game. Rules of this games, it is physics. And physics help us to realize why things move, why things fall, and how light and sound works. It helps us figuring out why something like a ball bounces, or how we can hear music,
Magic.
about discovering everything and why it works.
The answer is magic. We're all inherently magic.
Sure.
Sure, I've heard my grandma talking about Qigong. She says we're all energy inherently, and if you can control that energy. And then I started to daydream about Dragon Ball Z, so I lost the rest of
Was she a monk?
What?
Was she a monk?
She was a Buddhist?
I wonder if that's a type of monk.
Not
Did she do
necessarily.
flips?
No. No. Well, maybe in her youth. I don't know. But like I can ask her now.
An awkward silence settles.
Alright, shall we get going and gather the materials that we need? Up by the magic store to see if they have any frost gems. And then to the blacksmiths.
And to furniture shop or woodworker for lumber.
Yeah, I think the best course of action would be magic shop and then blacksmith or lumber, whichever is closest. Because if they do have frost gems, we also need some material for the freezer and refrigerator.
Are we gonna give the magic shop owner false hope again?
It's not false hope. He doesn't have the things we need, so no reason for us to be there.
Yes, but he seems very hopeful.
I hope he's helpful.
Hopeful?
Oh, I thought you said helpful.
No, I wish he was helpful. Okay, that's mean. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Shall we go?
Yeah.
Googie.